What's going on, everyone? I'm Hunter Dole here from Philly Insider Podcast. We're back with a trade video today on the bullpen. I feel like the bullpen could use one more high leverage arm, and someone I want to look at in the Royals is closer Scott Barlow, right-handed pitcher, 29 years old, still has 2 more years of arbitration left. We'll talk about why that might make it a little bit tougher to trade for him. And just by the numbers, 40 games this year, 43 and 2/3 innings pitched, 16 saves on 18 attempts. He is 3-2. Has a 2.06 ERA, a .96 WHIP, 44 strikeouts, 3.61 FIP, and a 194 batting average against, as well as a 2.1 WAR. Just talking about his pitches, he throws an 85-mile-an-hour slider, 79-mile-an-hour curve, and a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. His slider is his go-to pitch, 44.5% usage rate, and he has a 200 batting average against and a 205 expected batting average against. Been really sharp this year, just gets that late dip on it. Curveball's been barely been touched by opponents. 26 of those 44 strikeouts on the curveball, 105 batting average against, a 43.4 whiff percentage, and 81.7 exit velocity. So if they are making contact with the ball, they're hitting it right in the dirt, getting it over top of it. It's really cool to see how he works the curveball and slider off of each other, and just that late break he gets on both of them and how he can be deceptive with both of those pitches. Fastball has been hit well, 344 batting average against, 594 slugging. I'm sure teams, when they see something that's not the slider or curveball with him, they want to take advantage, obviously. But it's used the least out of his 3 pitches, 23% usage rate. And obviously, at 93 miles an hour isn't a blow-it-by-you fastball. It is a concern how well it's been hit around, but at the same time, I'm not super concerned because I think his other 2 pitches work so well. Gets a pretty good mix between ground balls and strikeouts, 45.6% ground ball percentage, and 25.4% strikeout rate. Like I said, he's getting hitters to swing over the top of that slider or curveball and either bounce it in the grass or just completely whiff on it. Only 12 walks in 43 and 2/3 innings. Not necessarily a super low amount, but again, you'll take that any day of the week. That's not a high walk rate by any means. It's very, very solid. With runners in scoring position, opponents are hitting 128 with a 4.83 OPS against him. Unreal. And in high leverage spots, he has a 154 batting average against. So overall, guys, Barlow has gotten better in each of the past 4 seasons, and he's hitting his prime at the right time, especially with the deadline coming up. Given the multiple years of arbitration remaining, though, I would be surprised to see him go. I don't think it's impossible he gets traded. I think there's absolutely packages the Royals can do. But I do think he'd be somewhat expensive given that he's probably one of the more valuable closers available. And again, with multiple years of control, I think a lot of contenders will look at that, and they're going to definitely want that. And the Royals are going to want younger prospects in return for sure. Keep that in mind. I think you do it in the right package deal if you're the Phillies. Maybe if you can get Michael A. Taylor as that rental in center field the rest of the season, or maybe you get Brad Keller in the rotation for the next few seasons. Something like that would make sense, but again, that's going to cost a decent amount of trade chips. And I would do it for the right deal, but I think with teams competing for some of these Royals guys on the market, it might be difficult to land them. And I think if you go cheap elsewhere and then decide to use a bigger chip or multiple bigger chips on Barlow without overpaying, yeah, that would make a ton of sense. And I wouldn't be opposed to that, obviously. I think he's a great player. Would I love to have him on the Phillies? Absolutely. I just think if we're really going to go big and give up a haul, I don't know if you want to do it on a closer. And if you do want to do it on a closer, you want to do it on one of the best guys on the market. Or, if you don't do it on a closer, you're going to want to do it on a really, really good player. So, not that Barlow isn't that. I think he's been really phenomenal this year. But I'm just not sure how realistic it is. But I would love if it happened. And, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all for watching. God bless. We will see y'all in the next one.